What is up, world? This is episode 57 of the Schmovie podcast with Ronald, John, and myself. My name's Steve. This episode, we're going to be focusing on, I guess, partly a catch-up of some films that we've seen or been trying to catch up on before the end of the year around this holiday time, whether they've been coming on DVD or we've had a chance to finally see them in a theater, maybe video on demand, whatever it might be. And then on the other side, maybe looking forward to some films in the first quarter or just past the first quarter of 2013, because there are some pretty cool movies coming out earlier on in the year, which sometimes in January can be like a weird, I don't want to say dumping ground, but there can be some dumping ground films.
Well, the perception is at least that movies that come out then are movies that the studio is not that excited about because they're not saving it for the summer and they're not releasing it in the kind of prestige season either.
Exactly.
So it's always so suggests this is a movie.
Where does it fall, or in terms of quality or success?
Sad though, because you see a good movie and then you forget about it completely.
Well, it does set a movie up to be something of a surprise, at least, because it's like you don't really expect much at that time of year. But
is there like an intention there to lower your expectation, maybe so that maybe it can surprise you?
I wonder if there's going to be any of those issues. I
don't know. We'll get to that. Do you want to kind of jump off and talk about what we saw recently instead first?
Yeah, sure.
Just to kind of catch us up to the end of 2012 and then go over there.
Okay. I saw the documentary Manson. It's basically about
is that the Morgan Spurlock thing?
Yeah, it basically is about men and maintenance of self and how we.
Is there a dick joke in there?
There are some dick jokes about shaving the pubes. And it has a bunch of people. Judd Apatow's in it, Will Arnett, Zach Galifianakis, just kind of giving their insight on how manliness and the idea of manliness has kind of changed over the years and what their preferences are and what they think is kind of lame. And
did Galifianakis share any beard wisdom that might help me?
He did. He just said that the basically the power's in the beard and to embrace it, among other things.
I knew that part already.
Yeah. Nothing new, but yeah.
John could have told Zach that. Okay, let's get this straight.
Exactly. So it was okay. It was pretty decent.
Spurlock kind of churns these things out now. It seems like.
Yeah.
Like earlier this year, I saw his movie about Comic-Con.
How's that?
It sounds like the same. Enjoyable, because I do have this kind of affection for sort of nerd culture. It had that extra little bit of interest, but it's not a deep documentary, and it goes into an issue in a way that is like brisk and funny and clever, but nothing particularly insightful. And it almost sounds like maybe Manson is in the same department.
It feels like I don't want to say this to insult it, but it feels like somebody has iMovie open and there's like an outline of how to make a documentary and he's just plugging in the parts.
Yeah.
And this is what it is.
That's exactly. I mean, Comic-Con is the same kind of thing. Like, there's not a lot of the movie making. You wouldn't say it was particularly impressive.
The movie pretty much made itself. Like, it wasn't anything compelling that he put together. So, all right. What about you, Steven?
I actually finally got to see 10 Years, which is...
I wanted to see that.
It came out in September, very limited release. Channing Tatum.
Rosario Dawson's in it, right?
Yeah, it's actually a huge cast. Actually a really cool cast. Justin Long, Kate Mara, Chris Pratt, Scott Porter from Friday Night Lights.
Chris Pratt's in it?
Chris Pratt's in it.
I like Chris Pratt.
Anthony Mackie's in it. I mean, really solid cast. And actually, a film that I'm a sucker for regardless. It's this high school reunion, coming of age, where are you in life now? Who failed? Who succeeded? Didn't we all fail in some way? Kind of movie. Mm-hmm. Relatable, where I am in my life, just those kinds of films. Again, the cast was pretty solid, really funny at times. Aubrey Plaza's in it as well. I mean, a lot of people from Community are in it, oddly enough. It's from first-time director Jamie Linden, who has been a writer on a couple films like We Are Marshall and Dear John, which have nothing to do with this movie. I just mentioned it because I saw it on his IMDb.
Oh, okay.
The thing that I would mention about it is I did really like the film a lot. I'd recommend seeing it if you like that kind of, drom-com, high school reunion, unsettled feelings, kind of wrap it up in a bow kind of feeling. I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of it's another entry into this is the year of Channing Tatum. I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't say that I'm a huge fan of his. Having also recently seen Magic Mike.
See, I was going to say this was the year of Matthew McConaughey, so maybe that's the Venn diagram.
That's where it all kind of
where it all comes together.
Yeah, I mean, it's right in the middle there.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like he's with 21 Jump Street, that broad comedy, which was a super surprise to me. I loved actually a lot. Even though the action entry, which would be probably G.I. Joe, got pushed back. I'm not to say that was going to be any good or not.
Don't you think maybe that helped Channing Tatum's average this year?
Probably, yeah. I think so. But Magic Mike, I actually really like that as well. I don't know. I just feel like seeing this movie, it's just another side of why I feel like he's doing so well. Like, I feel like he's, this is a very small film that got like no release, and he's still a part of it. Still a solid movie. Overall, pretty good critical reviews. Didn't make a lot of money. Maybe it will find an audience on home video. But I don't know. I just think he's tapped into something. And I don't know. I'm curious to see in the coming year, what happens next for him. I mean, he was like People Magazine's like Sexiest Man Alive. Like everything just lined up for him this year.
Yeah.
His wife's they're having a baby. Like it was like the year for him. And this movie was interesting to me because like I feel like if this was him in real life, like to look back on where he is, as a 31-year-old man from where he thought he would be coming out of high school, like I think it's a pretty cool year to see him in a movie like this.
Yeah.
Not to say that he's ever looked at it like that, but I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool to think about how he's done so well this year and had such a success at the box office, critically, commercially, all around.
Question: do you consider him you think he has the potential to be one of those like big actors?
I do. And I think
so?
that's what I'm getting at. I think that, now I forgot to mention that movie, The Vow, he was in with Rachel McAdams, which I'm not sure if that's like one of those Nicholas Sparks movies, if it was based off of one of his novels or not. I don't remember. Not a movie I love, but a movie that was still pretty successful. And it's like that romantic drama. So he's got this broad comedy, romantic drama, almost had an action movie come out this year. It's got this, high school reunion film, almost five films this year that are somewhat successful.
Well, like Magic Mike exists because Soderbergh wanted to make a Channing Tatum movie.
Yeah, that's a movie like about him too.
Yeah.
Like he was a Chippendale stripper at some point in his life. And now he's like questionably going to be one of the bigger movie stars out there. And I think it's kind of cool because I'm glad I saw this movie later on in the year. Like I'm referencing 10 years because it is so small. It's not a big, studio film. But the fact that so many great actors are in it and funny actors are in it, you're like, okay, this is like a collective piece where like a lot of people came together and wanted to help get this movie made. And this first time director, and it's really funny. And I mean, Justin Long's in it. I'm a huge fan of his. I think he's really funny. Like I said, Aubrey Plaza, Chris Pratt is actually hilarious in it. But I mean, he's the same character that he is in Parks and Recs, but overall, it's a really solid movie. A small film, don't get me wrong. Like I can see why it didn't get a really big release.
Sure.
It doesn't have that like broad laugh appeal. It's much more of an adult, like me, like where I am in my life, I'd watch a movie be like, I like this kind of movie. And I always like those high school, because I'm super nostalgic about that stuff and I'm a sap about it, but solid movie. Like I would definitely recommend both of you to see it. I think you'd both really enjoy it. And any listeners as well. I mean, if you're into that kind of genre or just a Channing Tatum fan, check it out because he's definitely.
Isn't it funny that someone could be a Channing Tatum fan now and you would go, oh, okay. Whereas just a year ago, you would be like, that guy from Step Up?
Yeah.
Wasn't that what?
It's weird, yeah. And his wife
it was
is
21
in it
Jump
too.
Street that really, I don't know. I could tell in that there's something there. That it's not just if you can focus it on him, he looks good.
I think he has the potential to be a more likable Mark Wahlberg. I don't think that Mark Wahlberg is as good as at comedic.
I think
stuff.
Mark Wahlberg is pretty good, but I think that the age difference gives you enough of a reason to say that there's room for a next Mark Wahlberg. And I think that I could totally see Channing Tatum having that kind of like doing those kind of films that Wahlberg does, where it's like he can do an action thriller or something like that, but he could also turn around and do something with a little
something kind of Ted-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think.
By the way, Henry, we were watching movie trailers,
Really?
And he saw the poster for Ted so many times, and he was like, oh, I want to see that one with the teddy bear. That looks so cool. That looks so funny. And I had to be like, Henry, we will bend the rules for you on a lot of movies. There's a lot of PG that you get to watch, but that's not for you, Henry. But it looks so funny, and that teddy bear is so cute. And I was like, yeah, he is, Henry, but I don't think that's the kind of film we're talking about.
Yeah, really.
But no, the next Wahlberg, that's not a bad assessment, because Wahlberg...
I don't think you're off. I think you're pretty... Because Wahlberg's films are pretty successful.
Yeah,
and Wahlberg
very.
clearly gets cast. I mean, he gets picked for interesting things. That whatever energy he brings, people kind of like that fact that. And you know what it is that they both have is they both have that toughness, but like they frequently play a vulnerable side.
4 movies coming out in 2013. So I don't know,
Oh, he
we'll
does.
see.
Yeah,
He's got G.I. Joe. He's got another the Side Effects Soderbergh film, White House Down, which is a broad action film. We'll
really
see
broad,
that. I mean, who knows?
Just for the name is hilarious.
Yeah, it's just like
Wow. White House Down.
I don't know, but yeah, 10 years, solid movie. Very cool, very cool.
Cool.
Well, we both saw Sleepwalk with me.
Yeah.
We wanted to talk about that. I feel like that's an interesting film for you, Ronald, because I mean that I feel like knowing what Ronald's doing on the side, because oddly enough, Schmovie is not the only thing Ronald does in life.
Wait. You mean when we stop recording, you guys don't just
hang out, wait for you to
just
come
don't
down?
sit in a dark room? Because that's what I do. You guys leave, and I just turn off the lights and wait.
I'm also moonlight as a
aspiring
male
comedian.
Yeah, that's
Oh, you're going male prostitute?
You know I was gonna say.
I thought you were gonna say
I
moonlight
tried to
as
cut you off on that.
I mean, right?
I feel like you have more chance of success for the comedian side.
Yeah.
Your hand jobs are not very good.
It's very
They're too
squinty and
aggressive.
dry.
Yeah.
A little too the
Anyway,
right, too much.
Sleepwalk with me, Mike
Sleepwalk
Reviglia.
Yeah.
It's like it's like kind of a bio sort of
it's like
film.
based on his life. He changed his name for some reason, but
it sounds very similar though.
Yeah, he's basically a waiter at a bar that he does stand up at, and he realizes that he's kind of at a standstill. So it's not until he kind of gets this kind of unconventional push that he realizes that he can really be a comedian and be funny. And he realizes that what's kind of stopping him is his subject matter, him kind of bringing him more close to home, and his issues, his stirring issues in him is what drives his stand-up to get better, which is really cool to see him develop during the course of the movie. I don't think he's the funniest dude in the world.
Yeah.
But it's something very, man, I hate to use this, very sweet and sincere about him. Like, it just seems very real. And that's what makes it very likable. And then you start to realize why he is in the place where he is. It's just a very real.
Well, there's a proven success with the story. I mean, it was a one-man Broadway show, and then it was a book. Now it's a film. And it's kind of fun because it looks at, I mean, the title, he suffers from like a REM sleep disorder where he kind of is in denial about and doesn't realize that it's an actual issue. And, his girlfriend, family members are all kind of
Lauren Ambrose.
Yeah.
Oh.
By the way, great singing voice.
Yeah.
That moment in the movie when they're singing at their engagement party. I never knew she could sing. But it kind of forces him to kind of look at, like Ronald said, like, to instead of trying to like pull these like obscure topics out, what's really funny is what he can genuinely relate to and explain from having experience, whether it's the sleeping disorder or his relationship with his fiance or with his family. Okay. And, that's kind of where everything starts to pick up for him. And he's driving all these routes around the country trying to do these college shows that are quote unquote on the way to one another and where they're absolutely not. Like he's losing money in a way to do this, but it's like, he gets that sense of accomplishment, growth, and I thought it was kind of cool. I mean, I couldn't help but think of you watching the movie because I know you're trying. Cool. You're in the process of trying.
Well, I know
to do
that
this
in terms
comedy
of
thing,
like trying to make sense out of all the insanity is to make jokes about it.
Yeah,
and I think stand-up comics are huge right now. So understanding that notion of like how do you not just develop the material, but how do you have the balls to get up there and be open to the because I mean it sounds like. The story, I thought it had a lot more to do with his sleepwalking, but it's more and more I hear about the movie. It sounds like it has as much, if not more, to do with that whole question of where does your material come from, and what in your life is off limits. I think that stuff's really interesting.
Because his jokes, that's kind of a recurring subject, is that he's using his jokes from college, and he's like been out of college for over 10 years. So he's using the same material over and over and over again. He's not really sure about how to write jokes. So I can totally relate, and I just started, so it's interesting to see, to have an idea in your head, and I saw it happen in this movie. To have an idea, say it, and then get laughs, or to have an idea, say it, and get nothing. Literally, no one smiling, no one reacting, and that to me is so funny. That's funnier to me than. Getting laughs.
Like watching that happen or being received. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
With this,
just as long as you know it's not as enjoyable for the audience.
Right. So what's happening to me is like, I'm realizing that, and I always knew this, I don't embarrass as easily as I thought. Like in my head, I knew that there were certain things that I just wasn't. I'm like, I can handle that, but I didn't realize it has to be an extreme thing to make me like, I'm like, I want to jump out of a window now, and to see this guy going through that stuff is pretty interesting, and he still loves it. It's something about just getting these thoughts out that are pretty interesting. That's a pretty interesting idea. So Sleepwalk with Me is good. I thought it was a very good movie. I want to see it again.
It was solid.
It's on demand right now, I think.
Yeah. It actually, I think it's on Netflix.
Oh. Yeah, no, you might be
Netflix.
right.
I saw it on Netflix the other day. Don't you dare shake your head at Netflix.
So is The Gray, which I have to admit I'm still curious about.
You never saw it?
I watched a little bit of it, man. It's pretty solid.
Dude, I loved it.
Was it that good? Because I really...
you mean Liam Neeson?
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
No, okay.
I was surprised by how much I liked that movie.
Well, I like and it's a great movie.
It's in my list of cuts still for end of the year.
Oh, well,
really?
It's the movie that comes out earlier in the year that you look back on when you're looking over the list. Like, there's that movie. I know what was it that was in like the first quarter or first half of the year that I really liked that could make the list. That's that film for me.
And it was
Of
a
20.
great-
Well, the trailer had him
Solid.
squaring off with a giant wolf with the glass between his fingers, and I was just like, I'm on board for that. But I think from everything I've heard about it, like, you can always tell when a movie sounds interesting. It's like that movie you could totally imagine that you knew exactly what it was going to be. But everything I heard about it was more interesting than the movie that I think the trailers kind of tried to sell.
That trailer is cut to get the people that bought tickets to Taken and to see the Gray.
But it sounds like it's a much more thought-provoking movie. It's
absolutely.
about survival and death and all this deeper stuff.
Yeah,
But no, I really want to see it.
definitely see it,
It's
John.
Joe Carnahan, right?
Joe Carnahan.
Yeah, Narc is still one of my favorite
love
kind of
Narc.
unsung movies of the last few
Narc
years.
And seriously, a 5-minute piece of that movie forced 2 of my friends to leave the theater when we saw it, which is the plane crash scene. Incredible. Planes. I'm petrified of flying.
Yeah.
And I had to like kind of look away at moments because I was like kind of getting a little like nervous like watching it. And my girlfriend and my friend left the theater and I had to like text them to come back in like because it's pretty intense, man.
Plane stuff is
the plane scene is the crash scene is insane. I don't want to like I apologize if I'm building it up too much, but now that I'm thinking back on that movie and having not seen it in a couple months. I did watch it at some point in the summer, and I was like, "Oh, dude, I did."
Well, no, my intention was definitely like I knew I needed to see it before I made my final call on the year, just because I've seen a few people mentioning it in reference to, and it was kind of like I sort of forgot that it's last spring feels like forever ago now.
It does
for some reason. Like,
what's like we talked about End of Watch a few episodes ago. You'd mentioned it, Ronald, and I saw it pop up on a couple top 10 lists. And that film, as well as The Gray, are movies that the studio has actually re-released at the end of November, early December to kind of realign it with people's top 10 lists and also with like, possible award contention because it really was a pretty well-received film.
I wouldn't be surprised to see them do that more often because everybody seems to be aware of what you were just talking about, Ronald, the fact that like you just forget they existed.
Yeah, it's a year is a very long time movie-wise. So many come out. Jeez. That's the great. It doesn't feel like that came out this year.
Yeah, no.
Especially if it's a movie. If what we were saying before about the kind of early part of the year when they're kind of throwing things out there, if occasionally something ends up there because it's hard to categorize. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
And it turns out to be,
it like catches.
It's always like, well, then the studio, you could imagine they go, oh, now if we only knew how to market this movie, we could have done this. So the re-release, I could see that being that seems like a viable way to handle those movies that need that extra. I mean, I personally don't put a lot of stock into awards as the ultimate like arbiter of whether a movie was good or not. But I always think it's strange those movies that don't seem to be part of the conversation simply because the memory only goes back a few months. Especially now that they really do stack the last 2 or 3 months of the year is when every movie that's like supposed to be Oscar bait comes out.
Yeah, because like the whole campaign for their awards is built into the marketing for the release of the film.
Right.
Where these movies that come out earlier in the year, it's like a whole different, when you're talking a studio, it's a whole different budget that has to be set up to reposition it, re-push it out. Even if it's on DVD already, which both of those films are.
You're right. There's no time for the contact. Like they can't put a movie out, see how it does, see if people really think it's that great, and then market it as an Oscar thing. It's got to be like it's all part of the.
It's a part of the bundle.
Yeah.
Did you have? I wanted to throw one more out there. I don't know if you. Did you have another film?
I saw Liberal Arts, which was directed and written by Josh Radnor, and
better known as people that don't know him by name.
The guy from How I Met Your Mother, the star of that show.
Young Bob Saget.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
young
father.
Bob Saget. Also co-starred Zac Efron and Elizabeth
Zephron.
Olsen.
What I refer to him as.
I like Zephron.
Just save yourself some time.
Elizabeth Olsen. So basically, it's a story about a guy that goes back to his alma mater because his professor is retiring. And while he's there at his old college, he meets his professor's daughter
You're making this up.
and falls in love with her. She's significantly younger than him. She's like 20. He's like 35. She is beautiful and young and supple. And he has way more
So
experience.
this was shot in Feel-O-Vision?
Yeah. So she's very smart and stuff, but she just lacks life experience. So he's fallen in love with this woman that has these cultural references that are very rich and all that stuff, but she just lacks life experience. And his interest in her pushes him to better his life, and it has a very unlikely ending. And I thought it was a really cool story. I also like the other movie that he did. What was it?
It's like Thank You.
Yes,
More Please.
Happy Thank You, More Please, which he directed in 2010. And I think he's just a promising director. He's a young guy, and he's gonna make some more good movies. So, liberal arts, check it out. I think it's very good.
You think he might be the next Zach Braff? Or the next John Krasinski?
I think give him like,
I'm trying to think of sitcom actors that have directed movies.
right. Give him like 4 more years. He's gonna do like an incredible 500 Days of Summer like movie.
Which then sets him up for
The Amazing
downward
Spider-Man.
slope turd status, according to your
when he does the
Mark Webb
the
hate.
third remake of Incredible Hulk. So expect that.
The last one I'll mention real quick is the Richard Gere film Arbitrage.
Oh man, I want to see
I remember seeing a trailer for it when I saw the Queen of Versailles at the Charles Theater downtown. I was like, I need to see this movie. And
Yeah, I saw.
I
it
didn't
there,
like
too.
hear about it forever. It came and went, and I don't even. It had a very limited release here in Baltimore, which I obviously did not see earlier.
Well,
in
it's
the
an
fall.
independent movie, right?
Yeah.
I just wondered because I don't remember what it was. I think I was watching Moonlight Kingdom at the Charles, but that's our little art house theater here in town.
Yeah.
And for anyone who listens to this outside of Baltimore, surely someone,
Hopefully,
yeah. But I saw that trailer. It was strange to see a trailer for that movie at the Charles because it didn't look or feel like an indie film. But it was on demand. I think it was one of those maybe before it was in theaters. It was already on demand or something.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was really surprised by it. Actually, it's Lionsgate put the film out, and it's cool that you mentioned the video on demand thing because I was researching it, and what was it? It was like the film. It set a record for the highest grossing day and date release period, like of all time that they've done, where it hits video on demand and in the select theaters. This whole new platform that we've talked about a number of times on the podcast. But
which is really kind of exciting that if it's a success for a movie like that. I mean, that movie did not really make a dent in the sort of commercial landscape as far as awareness. I didn't. Not that I could tell. So it was a success,
and that's what's really interesting about it because you don't can you peg that movie that will be a success on that platform of release? You know what I mean? Like maybe it's not the type of film that would be successful. Maybe it's the fact that it's just accessible at all. On demand, or the fact that Richard, has a star attached to it. Because there's been films like with Kevin Spacey, films that have like a recognizable name where people either seek their work out or just hear about it through publicity, and media outlets. That's what actually helps promote more than the actual, I guess, the campaign that a studio might do for a small film.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was like, I forget what it did. It did like 31 million to date, which is really big for a small film like this.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the budget was. I wasn't able to find that, but it's the first feature-length film from Nicholas Jarecki, who's done some shorts and documentaries over the years. I know he had a hand in the Tyson documentary a couple years ago, which I actually really liked.
I really like that.
But it's basically just the story of this billionaire who is in the process of both a sale of his company, where he's kind of hiding this book cooking activity that's going on behind the scenes that his daughter, who's one of his chief financial advisors, doesn't know about, and just trying to make sure that this sale happens so that he can get out before something crumbles. And then also on a more personal, smaller scale, he's having this affair with this woman, and one night when they're together, he falls asleep while driving, and actually she dies. I mean, you see this in the trailer. I'm not ruining anything, and it's him being so desperate to cover it up. He's covering up this thing on the financial side, this business corporate greed, and then you see this smaller, more emotional mental game that he's playing with this this loss of a life, and him covering that up. And you see many layers of how selfish this gentleman is, and how it plays into his family's dealings, and the loyalty that his family members have to him and vice versa, and also his corporate dealings with his coworkers and the people that are actually trying to buy his company. Really great performance by Richard Gere. Susan Sarandon's also in it. She's a smaller role, but I mean, she's pretty effective. Britt Marling, who I know that you're a fan of from like Sound of My Voice. She's in it as well as his daughter. Just a really cool movie. I think the great thing about trying to watch all these movies at this point in the year is that I'm removed from them a little bit, even though I wish I would have seen them when they came out. Like, I've almost forgotten about them a little bit, so I forget what my expectations were. And that really is great for me, because sometimes I'm guilty of overhyping a film, which I worry that I've done for you with like Silver Linings or something like that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that it's good to get excited, Steve.
Yeah, I don't regret it at all. Right. But I'm guilty of it. I'm aware of it.
Yes.
But I mean, it's cool though, because I see films like this, and it's like I knew I really wanted to see it, and it just like caught my eye when I saw the trailer. But I mean, it's like I don't know that it's a small film. This is totally a film that a studio could have probably got their hands on and made a production out of and put it out. It's almost like, it feels almost like a Wall Street.
Yeah.
On a small scale kind of movie, especially when you're talking about the greed factor. And again, I don't know that I'm a huge fan of Richard Gere, but I'd probably say this is probably one of my favorite movies that he's been in, and his performance is probably one of my favorite performances he's had. Just kind of creepy. You almost root for him at times, even though what he's doing in a lot of scenes is horrible, but there's just some likability to him. Yeah, and how he explains why he's doing what he's doing. You're like, well, that maybe that does make sense or something like that. Like, am I that much of an asshole to agree with him? But yes. Yeah, I would. Yeah, the answer is yes, obviously, but I would definitely recommend Arbitrage too. I feel like we're recommending all these movies like we don't not like anything anymore.
I mean, just lucky enough to see some good ones.
That's true, man. I mean, the fact that these are popping up, like these screeners that we get, or we see them on demand, it's like they're movies that are hitting the conversation again, because they're movies that need to be seen before the end of the year. Yeah, to be talking about conversations for favorite films and whatnot. And a lot of the films that I've seen in the past week, I know that a couple of them are going to definitely pop up on my end of year list. So Arbitrage is, like I said, it's on video on demand, and it may still be select theaters. I doubt it, but it should be hitting home video soon as well. Definitely a nice thriller mystery. Oh, Tim Roth is in it as well. Really? As a detective, kind of pursuing Richard Gere's character. But yeah, definitely check it out. Arbitrage.
Cool.
Yeah. That's kind of where we're at with what we've seen, right? I mean,
I haven't seen anything else.
Cool. So we'll transition into that. Kind of is just like what we've been trying to see before the end of this year, but looking into the early part of next year, we kind of just tried to chunk off the first quarter, so we didn't get too ahead of ourselves. Yeah, and also because that's really what a lot of trailers are available for right now, to see what we can maybe have an interest in beyond what's written on a page or something like that.
Yeah. So up through about April or so, these are going to be the movies that we think either look the most promising, or maybe if we feel the need to, we might mention a movie that we thought sounded promising, but now that we've seen a trailer, it doesn't. Or I don't know. I haven't. The one thing that we've been kind of alluding to already is that this time of year is when a lot of stuff that's been pushed back, or stuff that's been sitting on the shelf for a while, kind of ends up getting released now. And I do think that changes a little bit. You can't quite say that any movie that comes out at this time of year is being dumped. But it is sometimes kind of hard to tell sometimes why a certain movie doesn't really get a good push when you look at the cast or you look at the director. And then if it comes out on, mid-January, your natural assumption is just maybe it didn't, maybe these elements didn't come together to be a good movie. So anything in January in particular that you guys are to see?
The one thing in January that I have on my list is one that we've talked about plenty of times, which is one of my bah humbug moments of the year. To finally be able to see Gangster Squad. Yeah. I don't know what else can be said about it. The trailer's been out there forever. I'm very anxious to see how they've reshot the movie theater scene, which is now just, I think, in Chinatown. Ryan Gosling, Josh Brolin, Sean Penn, Anthony Mackie, Giovanni Ribisi, just awesome cast. Reuben Fleischer directed it. Anticipation's been up for me ever since I saw the first trailer or even read about the film's premise. I'm anxious to see a new gangster film that I absolutely love. I've seen some over the course of my life that weren't really of my generation, and I would love to see one that I might be able to deem that. I don't know that that's this movie, but I mean, with that much talent and I think capable hands, you know, I would be highly disappointed in this film if it didn't at least really like it. But you know, that comes out I think January 11th. Finally, anything you guys got for January besides that?
I don't know if it's not. I don't know if it's anticipated so much as it's just been kind of. The trailer for the Hansel and Gretel movie looks terrible, but I do want to see it for some reason. I don't understand why Jeremy Renner would participate in such a.
Well, I think you also look at when he participated.
Yeah, I think that movie was probably shot before
that's been canned for.
Hurt Locker.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Like
crested.
it looks very, very like it was shot years ago almost.
Yeah.
Like.
And that's also what's her name, Jenna Atherton. Is that her
Gemma
name?
Arterton or something like that?
I call her Jenna Atherton.
That works.
No, I don't know who, but she annoyed the crap out of me because she was the voiceover of. Did you see the Clash of the Titans remake?
Yeah.
She was the person who did the voiceover of that, and every time she said Zeus, she said Zeus, and I couldn't tell what kind of accent she. Zeus.
Did you guys ever see The Disappearance of Alice Creed?
No.
Little like British like
I remember hearing
caper
about it,
mysteries.
yeah.
She's in that with that was actually was really cool.
Was it?
I mean, I don't know much about her and besides the Titans films, but yeah, she's in that. She plays Alice Creed, but cool little whodunit, like twisted and turning kind of film. I'd check it out if I were you.
But yeah, this movie just looks like a CGI infested mess.
But we will.
But for
see
whatever reason,
I'll probably see it.
Ronald's
see it.
curious about it.
Yeah.
I'll check it out. I mean, I'm down to check it
Why
out.
would he participate in such a movie? But
Well, the movie that I am sort of like, why am I interested in it? That comes out in January, but I still intend to see it. Is Mama? It just looks like. I mean,
This is the Guillermo.
yeah.
the one he
It's-
presents but doesn't direct.
The PG-13ness of it is the most distracting thing. It's like, okay, well, knowing it's
Yeah.
PG-13 means I know exactly what movie it is because there's been a slew of those PG-13 horror films.
I'm going to ask you a question.
But I think the concept of the sort of feral kids being brought into the home and what the problems might be, but it looks like it devolves completely into like a CGI monster.
Should he keep stamping these shitty movies? I feel like Guillermo del Toro Presents has become like the.
It has and it
do
hasn't.
that though.
Yeah, I
Tarantino
feel like
does that.
yeah.
Eli Roth does that.
He doesn't have to do it though. I don't know why.
I agree with you. I'm just saying, like it's something they do just to help get filmmakers a shot.
I think that a lot of times it makes you think, okay, well, maybe this movie like the old in the old days, the Steven Spielberg Presents thing. It would be like, this is a movie that Steven Spielberg would have directed if he weren't busy making the next blockbuster. So there's a certain kind of like a story by credit I can understand, or produced by, but when it's really just the name is on it, and it almost seems like the name got slapped on as an afterthought to the movie, that is a little strange.
The problem is, to the layman, this happens a lot with a lot of conversations I have just in passing. People legitimately think that the name attached to it did the movie. So
I think that's what they want. Like, in a weird way, they want that ignorance.
That's
to pay
intentional,
off.
yeah.
They want people to buy a ticket, basically. But that can be a bad sign, too, that, if they're really pushing that aspect of it.
They're just trying to...
I didn't say the movie looked good. I just said this is a movie that looks bad, but I'll probably end up seeing it anyway, is all what I'm getting at. Also, Jessica Chastain looks hot with the dyed black hair.
So this is why I know that movie will be bad.
All right.
This is because they have...
Because of everything about it that we know so far?
They have strategically released this film at the peak of Zero Dark 30's success, I bet you. So it has come out by this time in January. It has gotten nominations by then. She's getting a nomination for Best Actress. Oh, weird. She's in this movie Mama too. I got to see this.
Yeah.
Literally, like that's why. This movie's been ready for a while. Why would you not release this film? Like they've been trailering this through the Halloween, that season. Why is that film not coming out?
That's a good point, because so it's like this is...
They piggyback on the success of one film.
This is to
studio.
Jessica Chastain what the Hansel and Gretel is to Jeremy Renner.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that's all I've been thinking about once I saw when this movie was coming out. Is that
piggyback that.
They see when she's going to be peaking, and that's like, okay, we need to ride that publicity, and because that people are going to be asking her about this other film in all her interviews, and that's coming out like the week or two after this, Zero Dark 30 hits its widest release, and they're going to be mentioning that film in every interview. So that's just like free publicity. So.
Yeah.
That's the way it works, and that usually is a sign that the movie is not going to be very good.
Or at the very least, that's the people behind the movie feel like that's the best shot they have.
Yeah,
that's striking while the iron is hot.
That's it
with the particular actor.
That's exactly it, John.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah,
that's unfortunate.
So what we're looking at with January, I would say that it looks pretty much like this theory about the dumping ground is pretty well intact. Yeah, there are a couple other movies that I can't really say I'm excited about, but I'm curious about in January. I thought movie 43. My mind is open to the notion of that having some funny segments in it.
Oh yeah.
And then there's a movie that I've heard about a little bit on the kind of festival circuit. John Dies at the End. I don't know if you know anything about that one.
Wow, yeah. I don't even know what to think about that movie.
Everything I heard about it, I was kind of intrigued. The trailers look about half super cheesy and half kind of fun. It's really hard to tell with a movie like that, because this does look like it's like a supernatural, it's a little bit of a spoof. It's Don Coscarelli, the guy who directed the Phantasm movies, and more recently is well known for Bubba Hotep.
Right.
So I
like Bubba Hotep.
Well, in the sense that he's coming off Bubba Hotep, it makes you think, okay, maybe he's bringing some of that kind of. It's like a B movie that's made really well for a B movie, but doesn't try to reach beyond that. John Dies at the End actually has a similar vibe to it. I feel like from the trailer, I'm already tired of the two leads. But aside from that, it's got Paul Giamatti looking like he's having some fun in it. And the general premise of the movie sounds like it's open to some kind of cool ideas. So based on the trailers, hard to say, but I wouldn't be surprised if John Dies at the End turns out to be a fun movie.
You wouldn't be surprised if John dies at the end, right?
Yeah, well, maybe it's just something about that name. I like the first part of the name
cool
a lot.
name.
And then as it goes on, I get more kind of afraid and
Like
a
John
little sad.
Tucker Must Die.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like that title. It's such a cool title. I want to see that local director wise. The movie Love.
Love, yeah, with the Common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My sister saw that at the Maryland Film Festival and loved it. It's been getting pretty good reviews, so I want to check that out. I think Common's a pretty good actor.
He's good. The trailer for that really makes it look. It's one of those where you can't tell if the trailer was edited in kind of a cheesy way or if the movie's a little cheesy.
It is edited a little weird.
Content-wise, I can tell that's a story that is going to get to me emotionally because it's got that whole like who are your real heroes thing, which I think is fascinating. It's like the role models that you're given as a kid, like what does it really mean to be a hero and what does it really mean to inspire somebody and to be a role model? And that part of it I think looks really interesting. It looks like it might be emotionally really involving. Yeah. But a lot of times with dramas, they're hard to sell, you know, so you know what I'm saying? Sometimes dramas don't make for the most exciting trailers.
Yeah.
I rarely see a drama and say, I'm going to see that before I see the action film that comes on after that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. No,
it's true that it's like we're all smart enough to know that those types of films can often be the best films, but the movies that you get jazzed about and that you end up anticipating are usually the tentpole movies.
Yeah. Definitely.
So January looks like, you know, a bit of a wash, but that's just great. It'll give us time to catch up on some of the movies we haven't seen in 2012. What about February? I see one right on the first that I'm at least highly curious about.
That?
Warm Bodies.
Oh yeah, that looks really fun. I'm interested to see it only because I really liked 50-50, which is from the same writer, and I think that he directed this one too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's kind of a fun story. I mean, zombies are hot right now.
I think
so
I would say they've moved beyond hot into they're like room temperature now.
Oh, you think?
Maybe it's.
Let's look at this, John. When does Walking Dead come back on the air?
Maybe it's when
February. When does this come out?
Yeah,
February. Coincidence? Nope.
It's another one of those. My big complaint is the trailer tells the story. It truly is a movie where you watch the trailer and you say, "Oh, I wonder what happens in that movie." Yeah,
sure.
You can kind of imagine the arc. However, the first thought I had a few years ago, when all the zombie stuff was happening, was, "Oh, someone ought to do one from the zombies' point of view, like to actually see what it's like to be amongst a bunch of zombies and to kind of get into the mental capacity." And it looks like this movie's idea of what zombies are might be a specific kind of zombie that can like regenerate or come back from being a zombie, you know, and all that starts to sound a little like silly in a sense, but just that notion of getting to sort of get inside the head of a zombie, to me that's enough to make me curious. And also the trailer just looks fun. I mean, it just looks like it's got good humor in it. But as far as the zombie craze, I felt like it's almost strange to me that like Zombieland came out 2 years ago?
Oh, more than that.
And 2 or 3. So that felt like it was putting the cap on the zombie craze for a little while. So it's strange to me that the zombie craze just keeps on wandering the countryside looking for brains to eat.
February. What else?
The week after that, there's 2 comedies that come out that I actually am looking forward to. One is Identity Thief.
Yes.
With Melissa McCarthy and Jason Bateman, directed by Seth Gordon, who did Horrible Bosses and King of Kong, Fistful of Quarters. Awesome documentary.
Yeah.
I also kind of liked Horrible Bosses. Didn't love it, but it was pretty funny. But I absolutely love Melissa McCarthy. And there's another film that she has coming out in this year, in this quarter of the year that I'm going to mention later. I pretty much just watch whatever she does. I'm just curious to see what she does next. Yeah. I'm waiting. Like, there's a moment where you're like sensing this star rising, and you're like, what film? I mean, Bridesmaids obviously kind of got her going, and she's on that TV show, Mike and Molly. Right. You know, like, what is it that cements her as like a true comedy star?
Well, this is positioned, if we look at her trajectory as kind of compared to the Zach Galifianakis trajectory, which I think is valid, because Bridesmaids and Hangover both had this one performance that everyone came out of the movie talking about, you know. This is her due date. So is the question is, now that we know who she is, can she kind of carry a movie? And I know you don't have very good feelings towards Jason Bateman, but I've always really enjoyed him. I think his comic timing is just perfect, and his dry wit is just when it's got like on Arrested Development, where the script is really sharp.
Oh yeah.
He's amazing.
He's good in that.
I don't know that he's ever done anything in the movies he's done that's quite matched the brilliance of just one episode of that show, but I always hold out hope for him. In this movie, you know, it looks like he's having as much fun kind of twisting his comic persona as she is. So yeah, I have that on my list of, I know I'm going to see it and I hope it's funny. Yeah. But I feel like it could be one of those comedies that if it gets close up to seeing it, and I've heard lukewarm things about it, I may never get around to seeing it. But
I think that the movie that I'm looking forward to is a glimpse inside the mind of Charlie Swan.
Because what the fuck is it? You know, like
Roman Coppola. It just looks so. I know. This is so weird. I already know it's going to be one of my top movies.
What? Wait, how can you know that? It looks like such a mess.
This is why I know it's.
Where's that guitar with the sounds on it?
Jason Schwartzman.
I need one.
Jason Schwartzman. The tone of it. And he co-writes all of what's the name of his movies?
Wes Anderson.
Wes Anderson's movies. It's the same tone as his movies.
I will admit that if it were anyone other than Charlie Sheen in it,
that's the problem.
I would not be like, because of Charlie Sheen, I'm leaning towards Steve's reaction of how could this movie really be that good? But if it were Sam Rockwell or someone like that,
I don't think
I'd be on board. 100%.
I don't think it's gonna start. I think Charlie Sheen is a small factor.
I feel like he's the main character.
He's the guy, dude.
I think that.
But I mean, but before he became Charlie Sheen,
before
he became Charlie Sheen, the publicity train wreck, he was Charlie Sheen, the actor. And let's try to remember a day when Charlie Sheen was just an actor.
Wasn't in.
I try to keep an open mind, but it looks like a very
Gun 33 and a third.
Yeah. Well, he was the Hot Shots guy.
Hot Shots Part 2.
Yeah, Part 2.
When he kicked the guy in the balls and his balls came out.
I think of Major League and Men at Work with his brother.
People can reinvent themselves.
I'm not against him reinventing it. I just think the trailer was no interest.
It looked so good to me. I know it's gonna. I know it. Like I know it.
Makes me concerned that you're on drugs.
That's how my brain works. Like I love those types of movies, man.
Yeah, I remember my exact feeling while watching that trailer to be kind of like, I don't know, like, because it's got so many of the elements of a movie that I would love.
I felt the same way when I saw Moonrise Kingdom. I was like, I gotta see this movie right now.
Yeah, but I had that feeling watching that trailer too. I feel like this trailer just looks like it's like what. I almost feel like it's intentionally what you just went after.
It almost looks like they went out and shot it in a weekend or something too. There's something that just looks so loosey-goosey about it. But again, that doesn't mean it's
my
bad.
involvement with the Wes Anderson movie to make Ronald want to see this film. That's what the trailer is.
It feels like a very like
shitty.
No, just random.
That's my film. Like last year we had Ghost Rider 2. No. This year it's this film.
No, it's just different. I think it's gonna be good.
All right, but I hope you like it though.
But the same day,
I'm gonna fucking see it. How about that?
I hope you fucking do.
The same day that A Glimpse Inside the Mind of Charles Swan, the third comes out. Also, Identity Thief comes out, and Side Effects comes out, which is the Soderbergh kind of prescription drug thriller. That actually. That trailer for that got to me. I don't know.
Hold on, that's the one with
it's Jude Law.
Jude Law, yes. Okay, I did see that.
Channing Tatum's in that as well.
Yeah. Wow.
But that looks good. I mean, it
does look good.
Who's the girl in it? Is it?
Catherine Zeta-Jones is
I
Rooney
mean,
Mara.
Yeah,
Rooney
yeah.
Mara.
I'll say Noomi Rapace, the other girl.
Yeah,
from
right.
Dragon
It's Rooney
Tattoo.
Mara.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I get those two actresses
Me too.
confused just because the two movies were so similar in a way.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
She looks weird with hair, though.
I know.
Like,
I know she needs to have her eyebrows shaved off and several
Yes.
facial piercings.
Now you look normal.
right, it's very strange. And she also looks strange in Sherlock Holmes. But she's played the gypsy.
Okay, you're talking about
Noomi Rapace.
You're talking about Noomi Rapace.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Oh,
You just did what we just said
happened
Yeah.
again. Oh God.
Boy, Rooney Mara in that C-section scene in
The C-section
Prometheus.
scene in Prometheus. She has the greatest legs, by the way.
The joke was I was talking about Noomi Rapace. Who was
God damn
Oh, I gotcha.
it. Again, I'll never be able to tell those two
Yeah.
apart now.
But Side Effects looks like, you know, it makes it when I saw the trailer for Side Effects, I just thought, oh yeah, I never did see a Contagion, you know, which I don't know if it
Yeah.
was good or bad.
I really like
But
Contagion.
Soderbergh makes pretty good movies and he puts them out pretty rapidly.
Quick.
And I don't know, there's something
makes
really
them quick too.
And he's like one of the few directors you really hear about. Like he's filming most. I mean, I think he does all of his own shooting or most of his own shooting. I don't know. I think that's amazing, and I
Yeah.
think that like there's always the possibility that one of his movies will kind of leave you cold. But there's also always the possibility that it will be some amazingly well made, well acted, intelligent piece of cinema. So in that sense, to me, Side Effects looks like there's a twist or a plot or something that the trailer is hinting at, but not telling us, and therefore I'm that much more on board for it.
Yeah.
Another comedy coming out that day. I don't. It's probably gonna be a limited release, but I Give It a Year, which I thought the trailer was really great. It's a new working titles film, British comedy with Anna Faris, Rose Byrne, Simon Baker, Minnie Driver, pretty much anybody else that's been in some of those working title films. But the Stephen Merchant's also in it.
Mm-hmm.
Just a really fun. The trailer I thought was hilarious. Just kind of about it's basically once you get married, what happens after that, you know. And I don't know. I just think I like most of the films that production company puts out. Like those something about that British humor and like, or at least their brand of it. And I guess the cast that they're able to put together usually deliver for me. And you know, if the trailer for that's any indicator, I feel like it's going to be another one of their films that I'm a fan of. But that comes out the same day as Identity Thief. So I guess another switching genres in February. I feel weird saying that I kind of want to see this movie because I knew nothing about it prior to like. Honestly, I feel like I saw the trailer when I saw Twilight, but it's Beautiful Creatures. Have you guys heard about this film?
No.
It's like a supernatural. It's kind of. I mean, it's pretty much the next their attempt at like another Twilight or Hunger Games, like a franchise for tweens.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, something about it like reminds me a lot of Star Wars. Like it's like basically about like a I think it's witches pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
But
I did see the trailer. For
Jeremy
that.
Irons in it, Viola Davis is, Emmy Rossum, yeah, Emma Thompson, like pretty good cast, you know. And it's basically about this girl who's coming to a point in her life at an age where she either goes to the dark side or the light side, and you know fights the winning, you know, fights for good or fights for evil. Just kind of a cool trailer. I like pretty much everybody that I just mentioned by name, and I feel like it's like another one of those book series where you're like, there's something that caught on with the book.
Yeah.
Can they adapt it for the screen and make another thing for it? Because you know, you're kind of looking for that. I was never a fan of Twilight. I kind of liked Hunger Games, didn't love it, but I'm always up for checking these types of event films out if it could be that. And like I said, it reminds me a lot of Star Wars, like especially the trailer, a lot of the imagery, and you kind of see that there's something underneath about, I guess, what this girl's relation to certain people in the film are that they don't really tell you in the trailer.
Yeah.
That looks kind of cool to me. So I mean, it's kind of like the random one that I want to see in February. But yeah, I don't know. Beautiful Creatures comes out, I think, on the 13th.
February. I don't see anything else in February that I'm really interested in.
I also had Dark Skies.
The one with Kerry Russell.
Yeah, and what's his name? Josh Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much anything with an alien, I'd probably watch. I mean, I'm not gonna draw that out, but
See, I think that to me went in the same bucket as Mama in just the sense of, okay, here is looks like kind of cookie cutter recent horror, but with decent actors, and there's a couple of images in the trailer that made me go, all right, maybe so. You know, and you never know with that type of movie if it's going to be just a rehash or if there actually is something unique about it. Because usually those movies are pretty well marketed. I mean, you know what I mean? Usually those trailers are put together pretty well.
Yeah.
But it's almost like there's almost like a rhythm to the way they're put together. But the one thing that sticks with me from that one is just the scene where she finds her husband out in the backyard and he's just standing there and his mouth is just agape, like he's in shock or something. To me, there's something so like about that. Like, it could be goofy, but instead it's really creepy.
That scene, the scene where the birds are flying into the glass, and there's a scene where she's like banging her head against the door, like the sliding glass door, and just a look on her face, like creepy, like just a blank, like.
Well, plus J.K. Simmons is in that, and something about him being, I don't know, certain actors in that type of fare makes you go, oh well, either this is just this actor having fun. Or there was something about this script that really,
I feel like he's the Vincent D'Onofrio of this film.
Yeah,
like,
maybe
from Sinister.
Yeah.
He kind of just pops up to explain to us what's happening.
Right.
Hopefully not. But
I kind of still want to see that.
I'm down. What, Sinister?
Yeah.
I check it out. It's not bad. I didn't hate it.
When you guys
it let me down. It let me down though.
I want to sit behind you and just talk nonstop. About
I saw it with Percy. Don't forget. So we saw it with Percy.
Are you gonna see Die Hard?
You know, I did not. You know,
it's not on my list.
I didn't put it on my list.
Yeah,
and I even included.
Can't say that
I even included Oz the Great and Powerful, and I didn't include Die Hard. So that tells you.
Yeah, Oz is the next one.
Yeah,
if we're gonna move to March, that's kind of what I'm looking at in March. It's interesting though, because oh man, I don't know. Like the more I see of footage from it, and then like the marketing material for it, I can't decide whether or not I'm genuinely interested in seeing it or not.
Yeah, well, I think if Sam Raimi's name wasn't on it, my feeling would be that it looks a lot like
Alice in Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland.
Done.
However, knowing that it's Sam Raimi, and also when I was a kid, I really loved the Oz books, so I do have this sort of affection for that world beyond just the classic film, The Wizard of Oz. You know, in that sense, like I when I was a kid, that movie Return to Oz came out, and I remember enjoying certain aspects of that. So yeah, I'm open to the notion that someone is going to kind of approach that world, because one of the cool things about the books was that Dorothy was really only the main character of the first few, and then you get more and more into the characters of Oz. And you know, like the story of the movie Wizard of Oz is all about Dorothy going to Oz and coming back, and it seems like it was all a dream. But the books get much more into this involved history of this different land, even though it's all very kind of whimsical and for kids. There was like a real, you know, there have been like wars in Oz, and there have been different kings and this whole history there. Oh, wow. So in that sense, the notion that they're going to introduce the concept of the wizard character and sort of show his origin. I mean, in one case, it's another prequel origin story approach.
It does.
But there's a lot of room within that world of Oz to play around.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of crazy characters that aren't the Tin Man and the Scarecrow and the Lion and the Wicked Witch. So it's tough to know, like, whether this movie, almost like with the Planet of the Apes movie, the way it both served, the more recent one, the way it served as kind of an introduction to a new story, but it was also a throwback for people that liked the other movies. I'm wondering how much this movie is fueled by nostalgia for the movie version of Wizard of Oz, and how much it's coming from, you know, like I said, trying to wedge more material from the books into a movie. You know, James Franco seems to me the right kind of actor to make this kind of strange part work. So it really is just down to the script, because there's really nothing wrong with the casting in this movie. It does look really like one of those overdone CGI fests. But again, if there was ever a story that kind of allows for that, it's a story that takes place in a kind of magical land. So yeah, jury is totally still out on it. But you know, there are things that would make it look. There are things that would make it more of a sure bet, and one of those would be if it didn't look sort of familiar to you from all these recent, you know, cartoon
exactly
movies.
Like Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, except like before the storm clouds rolled in. It looks like that movie before the storm clouds rolled in.
Yeah. Does anybody want to see Flintstones, aka the Croods?
No,
I want to see that.
I guarantee you, I will see it, because I have a child that will probably want to see it. Because I saw Ice Age 4 in the theater, and if I see that means I'll see anything.
I don't think I could sit through Ice Age. I could never have.
Of the recent animated movies, you know, Madagascar 3 was surprisingly funny, and Ice Age 4 was perhaps unsurprisingly, but
Ice Age
really bad. And I feel like Crude is in that. Crude looks like it's in the. Looks like it's in that vein of like. I just don't think I like the character design in that. I think that's just one where looking at the characters weirds me out.
Just harsh on the eyes.
Yeah, they're just ugly.
Yeah.
I don't like ugly people, Ronald.
Yeah. I hear you.
We just lost all our ugly fans.
Like, I can't do this.
How dare he?
Sound like monsters, severely. G.I. Joe, is anybody going to... I have no desire to see that movie.
I have no desire, but I want my inner child to be so healthy that I want to see that movie. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's like I wish that I could believe. It's almost like when, like when the Transformers movies came out and they were so not, just not my cup of tea.
Yeah, just blah.
My inner 10-year-old that would have loved to have seen those movies was mad at me for not being more excited about it. I kind of feel like this looks sort of like that. Like G.I. Joe should be interesting to me. But like what's a bad sign to me is that the money shot in the trailer is badly green screen.
Talk about the Bruce Willis scene where he's
Bruce
like
Willis
in
the back of the truck looks like his face was like computer grafted onto a stuntman or something.
Looks bad.
It just looks bad. And it's like that's the shot that's supposed to be the it's on now of the trailer,
It's gonna be bad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like it's really that movie wasn't going to be good anyway, and then it got held back by 6 months. You know what I mean? That wasn't even like a prestige movie that got held back. Like what were we talking about? Great Gatsby. Like, so this is a movie that no one had any expectations of, and it got held back. So bad sign.
Yeah, it's gonna be really bad. What about April? April looks like.
Hold on, real quick. March. I had a couple more.
Something in March?
I had Admission.
Yeah.
Paul White's film with Tina Fey and Paul Rudd.
No, I didn't
Lily
see
Tomlin.
Yeah, I'm interested in that for sure.
I didn't see that.
She plays like an admissions counselor at like some college, Princeton, I think, who goes to this like, is it a commune or is it like a school for boys? I don't know.
Yeah, she gave a kid up for adoption or something.
Yeah, and Paul Rudd plays like this counselor at I think she went to college with him, and he brings her there to recruit this kid and to kind of
basically he thinks he's found the kid that
she gave up.
Right? And so it's all about what
who's the kid?
I don't know who's playing.
No, Nat Wolf is his name. I think.
But it's supposed to be as like a movie about parenting as much as it is a romance, which I always like when movies kind of have some kind of a balance. Like it doesn't seem like it's just a rom-com. Mm-hmm. But I think Paul Rudd and Tina Fey in a romantic comedy in and of itself, like that's I'm on board for that.
Yeah,
and the fact that it's got a little something else going on, the fact that she's kind of playing like maybe something a little bit familiar, kind of a career woman who's looking at her life options and how to have a more fulfilling life. I mean, that sounds a little familiar and a little obvious, but I don't sense those people getting together and doing something that's not at least, like smarter than the average romantic comedy. Yeah, I like Paul Rudd.
And also the Place Behind the Pines. Did you guys see the trailer for that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the
Derek Cianfrance, the guy that did Blue Valentine.
Looks good.
Awesome. I think the trailer
looks intense too.
Yeah.
It looks like one of those movies that, like, how some movies are like, it could be a happy ending, but this doesn't look like it'll have whatever it is. It's going to be dark.
What I like most from it, like, and you only see a glimpse of it in the trailer, is that it's like a multi-generational film.
Yeah,
like it deals a lot with consequences of like what Ryan Gosling and Bradley Cooper's in it as well.
Yeah,
what their actions and how it trickles down to their children, and actually, the guy from what's it called? The guy from the superhero, the high school kids.
Chronicle,
like the bad guy from Chronicle.
Oh yeah,
he plays one of the sons, and I mean, like seeing them really quickly in the trailer, I think it's just kind of cool. I'm interested to see how that scope is covered in the generations.
Looks good.
Like it's basically Ryan Gosling's character pulls these heists to help pay for this son that he found out that he had, and Bradley Cooper is just like eager to succeed cop, and also Ray Liotta's in it, and you get a sense that there's like some corruption or something like that, and it's like Bradley Cooper, who I thought was great in Silver Linings. Maybe this is another really strong film in his.
Yeah. I remember reading about this one, but when I read about it maybe a couple of weeks ago, I don't think there was a trailer out yet.
Yeah, the trailer just came out like this earlier last week.
I thought it was going to be this is so weird. When I saw the poster, I thought it was going to be the Drive follow-up that's supposed to be coming out.
It kind of talks, I mean, it kind of like looks and reads and feels like a Drive.
The poster
points in the film.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure. Yeah, it looks good though.
Yeah, I just want to throw that out there. It's smaller. I don't know what the release pattern is, but it comes out at the end of the month.
Speaking of movies that are bumped back, and this is not a movie that I'm even suggesting looks good, but just a moment of mourning for Bryan Singer's career. Jack the Giant Slayer. What is up with Jack the Giant Slayer? What? I mean, that just. I know you guys seem uncomfortable. You guys seem uncomfortable just at the mention of it, but it just looks. It doesn't even look like it's that horrible. It just looks like. It also feels like a throwback. Like it feels like a movie people would have been excited to see 10 years ago or something. But now that we take all these effects for granted, I just don't know that. And I just don't know that the Beanstalk story is one that you can really get people too invested in, as far as like feeling like it could really be. You know, I don't know.
It's not going to work.
Yeah.
It's not going to
work.
work.
It's like that mixture of kind of whimsical and fairy tale with like trying to be an action movie.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I just remember when the trailer, like they briefly put out a trailer last year, and then they pulled it, and then it got pushed back almost a year. So, but Bryan Singer's supposed to be on the next X-Men movie now, so obviously he's still kicking. But I almost feel like he and M. Night have a similar problem where their name doesn't really mean, they're a recognizable name that doesn't really mean anything good to anyone anymore.
So true. That's very
Hopefully
true.
it will. Maybe with this, maybe it'll be great, but it probably won't. Nah, probably won't be.
No, let's go with no. Christopher McQuarrie like wrote it too, or was involved with the right. Yeah, I read. Yeah, just a weird thing.
Evil Dead?
Yeah, Evil Dead. I'm excited for.
Looks super dark, which I love.
A very bold statement on the marketing for this. It's like it's saying like this is the scariest, most terrifying film you'll ever see. That's a bold statement.
I mean, that's not the preview has her slicing her tongue in half with a knife. That's pretty.
It's not going to be hard.
It's not going to be very hard to do, at least recent movie wise.
You have ever seen? That's
not ever seen.
But I know what you're saying.
Think about the generation, the generation now. Think about all the movies that they've seen in the past couple of years that are newer horror films. They've been there. I mean, okay.
Well, the fact that so many of them are backdoor or secret PG-13s, what they're really saying is, no, this isn't going to be one of those. This isn't going to be one of those movies that backs down from the really awful stuff. Now, does that mean their only thing that they have, the only surprise they have, is just a surprising amount of gore and awful stuff happening, or is there actually a good movie there? I don't know, but just from the trailer, it definitely looks like. It looks very familiar to me in terms of the kind of horror that it is. Like, it looks like it's very dirty and kind of grimy, and I'm down with it.
Yeah, I think it looks solid.
But I still, I'm still waiting for something that makes it look like it's not just a darker version of the horror we've been seeing a lot of recently. Supposedly, everyone involved is really excited about where they've taken the material. And really, of the Evil Dead movies, the first one really is the only one that really tries to be a horror film. Yeah. So if there's anything I think is kind of interesting is that they chose to, if the name Evil Dead means anything now, it's almost based on Evil Dead 2, which was much more of a spoof.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of interesting that they're basically saying, no, in order to really adapt this concept, you got to go back to the original idea of what made it scary. So, I mean, it's also funny in the post Cabin in the Woods world to have a movie that I think is the most obvious reference point for Cabin in the Woods, which is, that the house even looks like the house from Evil Dead in that movie. So I'm Cabin in the Woods was maybe a little too arch and ironic for me. So to see a movie that just really is trying to just scare the shit out of you.
Definitely. I guess I was thinking like for the younger generation, like
I know what you mean. Yeah,
just the reference. A lot of kids don't have references to movies that really
used to kind of really fuck with you a little bit. I mean, it's like the best horror movies are really like, you should be sitting there going, I don't know why I watched that.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that they figured out they can make all this money off of teenagers with horror films, it's like, it's almost like they've forgotten that original goal of a horror film is not just to kind of string together a few scares like a Paranormal Activity movie, but to like really like give you nightmares.
You shouldn't come out of the theater and say, "Oh, it didn't scare me that much." You should say, "Man, that was fucked. That was terrible. What just happened?"
Yeah, I wish I hadn't seen that.
Yeah, I missed that stuff. So Oblivion. Anyone?
I'm curious about Oblivion. I think I saw the trailer for Oblivion followed by the trailer for After Earth the other day,
it was
really bizarre. It was really bizarre how similar they don't look exactly alike, but the fact that it's prominent Scientologists showing up on a post-apocalyptic Earth wearing some kind of white jumpsuit. It was really funny that you really could almost edit them together.
I think the same movie.
But no, I think it looks. The most heartening thing to me about Oblivion is the Joseph Kosinski aspect, which is because even though Tron Legacy was, maybe one of those kind of poorly scripted movies that has a lot of attention and a lot of pressure on it, the actual direction and the visual styling of that film was pretty impeccable. I see little hints of that in Oblivion. Like there's a few shots that just look gorgeous.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm interested.
This is what I like to see Tom Cruise in. So
You know, the one thing that his character's name is Jack Harper, which to me, I just love that. Why? I don't know what it is about that name, but part of me when the person said, when it's like Jack Harper, or whoever it is that says his name in the trailer, and I just remember thinking like, oh, they knew this movie wasn't going to be that good when they named the character Jack Harper, but I don't know why. Like, is it just Jack anything? Sounds like a default setting, like screenwriting program turned it out.
Guess so. Jack Harper.
Anything. Because if it was like Tony Harper, I don't think I would be even mentioning
right.
it.
But the fact that it's Jack something, Jack anything, it lends itself to some corniness.
Well, no, I think the interesting thing about that too is that both that and After Earth, the trailer really heavily hint at a twist that maybe is not explained by the trailer. But both those movies, it seems that they're not telling you something about the concept. You know, I definitely think Oblivion, to me, looks like the more interesting movie out of those two. But you know, I still haven't completely written off the fact that M. Night Shyamalan has the ability to string together a sequence. So so you know, After Earth might have really great stuff in it. But I feel like that trailer, the cheese of him saying, "Do you know where you are? This is Earth."
And the twist is like, psych, it's not.
Well, even if
it's gotta have the twist.
but it's like the whole trailer, I was thinking, well, this has got to be Earth because those are Earth baboons running around.
The twist is going to be that they're the same.
The twist is going to be this is actually Oblivion.
They're going to be.
You actually are watching Oblivion, right?
The same movie.
There you go. There's a first.
They're going to be the same person. I think that they're going to like talk to each other, but in those weird ways.
Oh yeah,
you
yeah.
should have noticed. His dad is really.
His dad died in the crash, and he's imagining him as he helps him out or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
We shall see.
The other Melissa McCarthy film is in April, which is the Heat, with Sandra Bullock, which I think actually may be the one that I'm more looking forward to.
Yeah, she actually looks funnier in that. Yeah, and I think Sandra Bullock looks. It's hard to tell, but it looks like she's playing a character a little bit more of kind of a comic character than she usually does.
It looks like a kind of like a fun buddy comedy. You know, I like to see how far they take it. I don't know what the rating on it is, but I was trying to find it. But it's directed by Paul Feig, who did Bridesmaids, which makes it. Maybe he can, if it's not Identity Thief, maybe he can help make this the one that maybe takes her the right step towards not.
If Identity Thief is her due date, this is her Hangover too, because it's the same director.
Okay, let's hope maybe better.
But yeah, she seems like she's having fun and being funny in that. A movie that I'm actually extremely excited about without knowing anything about it, even after having seen a couple of teasers for it, is Upstream Color.
Oh no, those are something else.
No, I haven't seen that.
Upstream Color is the follow-up. If anyone saw the movie Primer.
Oh, right.
This is written and directed by Shane Carruth, who wrote and directed Primer. And it's...
What a weird teaser.
It's a very weird teaser, and it's one of those films that the description of it... Like, I love this, even though sometimes it can mean... Could mean one of two things. One is this person's pretentious and is trying to describe their movie in a... Like, they won't come out and just say what it is.
Right.
But the other side of it is this is a movie that's best experienced if you know very little about it, and I'm hoping it's the latter. But the description is basically just talking about people being connected as some major changes happen in the world, and that discovering that the nature of reality may be a lie or something along those lines. If you saw Primer, it was kind of a head scratcher and a mind blower at the same time. Yeah. One of the few movies that I consider rewatchable only because you watch it and you immediately want to watch it again just to make sense out of what you just saw. Yeah. But I think Primer was like a uniquely kind of smart sci-fi movie. And the way the concepts it played with, it's that rare time travel film. I guess that might be considered a spoiler, but I feel like it was sold to me as a time travel film. But it's that rare time travel film that plays around with the plausibility of time travel and almost makes you feel like, well, if they was going to figure it out, this is how it would work. You know, and so therefore I'm like optimistic that Upstream Color will follow in those footsteps and just be, maybe a genre movie, but a really smart take on a genre movie. But so Upstream Color, that actually might be my most anticipated, just because I have no idea what to expect from it. And this is a guy who, based on Primer, I made a note of, I want to see what's this guy does next. Yeah.
Speaking of maybe most anticipated, and this is weird for me to say this, but having seen the trailer recently, I think one of my most anticipated of the early 2013 is going to be
5.
No, that's my second most anticipated.
Okay,
is Michael Bay's Pain and Gain.
Oh yeah,
oh man,
like I don't know. The trailer is really well cut. I don't know that. I don't know what it is about the trailer. I think the idea of seeing a Michael Bay film that's made for $20 million lets me reel in my expectations for it to be distracting in ways that would piss me off, like some of his other movies. The Rock, Anthony Mackie, Tony Shalhoub. I think Ed Harrison as well.
I mean, it looks funny, which is surprising for a Michael Bay movie.
It almost looks like he's tapped a little bit into what he did with Bad Boys. There's a buddy element to it, not on the cop side this round, but these bodybuilders that are attempting to pull off this scam to make all this money, and the fact that this is based on real events that happened in Miami, I think it was, and that the guys that attempted to pull this off are on death row right now. It's crazy to me that, there's a movie coming out that Mark Wahlberg and The Rock and Anthony Mackie are in. It looks really funny, really entertaining. It also has that feel of like that bumbling idiot trying to pull something off, even though it's a completely different film and a far better movie, but it reminded me a little bit of seeing Mark Wahlberg in Boogie Nights and him trying to attempt something that he was way outside of his reach.
Gotcha.
And I got that vibe in this movie a little bit, but obviously on a glossier, shiny Michael Bay type of film. If you watch the trailer, I don't know that you would say this is a Michael. You would never know it's a Michael Bay production,
right?
If you just watch,
it does look kind of Michael Bay-ish to me, but I think that. I mean, just in terms of the way it's shot, it's got that look, that sort of commercial look of his,
like almost like a music video.
But there's a certain kind of, it looks like a comedy of errors. It looks like it's going to be a bunch of characters who get in something over their head, and it's rare to see that type of comedy shot that way. I didn't know it was as cheap as 20 million. That's shocking because it doesn't look that cheap. But it's like for various reasons, it's just a movie that you go, I've got to see this to know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
The scene where he's like under pressure and he's got to go do a few curls. Just that's just so funny. That
funny.
I mean, like,
and then The Rock's like, get it.
Yeah, you got it. That's good. Yeah,
get it.
And again, that type of interplay, maybe what you're talking about with the Bad Boys thing, but it seems like these two actors probably on the set had some back and forth. And I think we've seen Mark Wahlberg, not that like the other guys was a perfect movie, but we've seen that he can both spoof and pull off the kind of buddy comedy kind of stuff. I mean, but he looks great. And I mean, he looks like his performance in this, like just him running from the cops at the beginning of the trailer and then getting hit by a car, all that stuff just feels like it could be, I don't know. I like when it's well done, when it's one of those stories where a couple of knuckleheads just get in over
totally
their
what
head.
it is.
Yeah.
Looks
I just
very
love
good.
the scene of them in the Fiero, and he's like, and he's explaining the whole scam to The Rock, and he's like, there's no way that's going to be like, he's like, I watch a lot of movies. Just trust me, okay?
Yeah.
As he just darts off in his little
The
Fiero.
fact that that's his logic for doing the scheme is hilarious. It's going to be really funny.
I hope so, man. And and it took me by surprise. I knew about it. I had been following it, through development, but when I saw the trailer, I mean, it got me, man.
And he looks huge in this too.
Yeah.
He's ripped.
Yeah.
The Rock
I like that opening shot of the trailer when it's like that big billboard, and he's like doing the sit-ups, but it's like a curl.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's like a stupid little thing on.
Pretty cool.
Another movie that fits into that category of like has a lot of things about it that would make me avoid it under other circumstances, but just for whatever reason it looks funny to me. But the Incredible Burt Wonderstone with Steve Carell and Jim Carrey,
yes,
it just looks funny. I mean,
looks so funny.
It's like anytime you see those actors popping up in something, you kind of wonder which
and
version,
Steve Buscemi's in
like
it
which
too.
version of them you're gonna get.
Yeah.
But like Steve Carell, he looks like he's doing. I mean, he's got like looks like fake teeth and super tan.
Spray tan.
So he's playing a character, and Jim Carrey's character as the kind of Chris Angel, David Blaine as magician just looks funny. And anytime really funny actors get together and it's the right material, it could be great. And that movie really does look.
Jim Carrey doesn't do movies very often, so his choice to do this one is pretty interesting.
Well, that's where he's stroking Steve Carell's cheek and he says, "Your skin makes me cry." If it's got just 3 or 4 more lines like that,
Golden.
It'll be worth the price of admission. But
and Alan Arkin's in it as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
It looks good, man.
Yeah.
It looks fun. Funny trailer. Posters are hilarious.
I think. Oh, that's April. Oh, March 5th. Actually, so I was backtracking to March there.
I want to see that. Man, it looks good. Very funny.
There are also a couple of documentaries coming out that I just thought I'd mention. In March, there's one about the author Philip Roth called Philip Roth Unmasked. And then in April, on April 17th, there's a movie called The Deceptive Practice, The Mysteries and Mentors of Ricky Jay. I don't know if you know who Ricky Jay is.
Yeah,
but
who's Ricky Jay?
He's a character actor you would definitely recognize, but he's like a magician.
Did you see The Spanish Prisoner?
No.
With Campbell Scott. It was like a David Mamet film.
He's just one of those guys who's always been around.
His name is Ricky J.
And he's always popped up and stuff. It's like, therefore,
you would know his face if you saw
therefore
him.
seeming like a good subject for a documentary. Those people who've done a million things, but you've got to connect the dots. And then, of course, Philip Roth just, he's an interesting figure and kind of a modern American master of the novel. So it's, again, could be a really interesting subject.
There are definitely things to look forward to.
Yeah.
These first couple months of the year. I mean, it's just that first month you roll the dice a little bit and you wonder what is hopefully there's like one takeaway, and I'm praying that it's Gangster Squad. And I think, hopefully it's solid. It just worries me that they would, I don't know, push it back that far into the new year.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. I don't know. But there's some good comedies coming out, some sci-fi, some drama. We didn't mention Terrence Malick's new film, To the Wonder, that's coming out in April.
Oh, that actually comes out that soon. Okay.
Yeah, in April with Ben Affleck, Rachel McAdams. I mean, I feel like, I don't know, I'm not a huge fan of his work. I mean, visually, I'm always impressed by it, like what he does with the screen. But
Tree of Life.
Yeah, I know how you feel about that. But I'm a big Ben Affleck fan, and also Rachel McAdams. And the trailer for this actually seems like it may be more, like, I guess, maybe a little more accessible and streamlined than maybe his like Tree of Life, or maybe what else,
Well, it certainly feels
recently.
like the turnaround time on this has been shorter than the usual Terrence Malick turnaround.
He hasn't sat on it for years.
But he's a guy who seems like he always has 2 or 3 projects in development. But this last year was the first time I remember there being like he finished one and was already shooting another.
Right. Yeah.
So it almost makes you wonder if maybe he's changing his methods.
Yeah, like when Tree of Life came out last year, it was like you'd already seen like a production still with Ben Affleck and Rachel McAdams.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, this is coming out next year. And then all of a sudden, like a couple weeks ago, like there's a trailer and there's a date and there's a poster and there's all this stuff, and it's like, okay, well maybe they're gonna get it out there. So hopefully it's supposed to come out it could always be pushed, but it's supposed to come out in April. But it's supposed to kind of be examining like the relationship between Ben Affleck and I think the other female lead is Olga. I forget her last name. She's also in Oblivion, I believe. Their relationship, and when they moved back to his hometown, him kind of rekindling a relationship with Rachel McAdams. Looks solid. I mean, I'll always see his films just because I'm curious about them, just because they seem to be kind of polarizing or dividing, critically especially. But
the impression is at least that they could be important.
Exactly. That's exactly how I see it. It's like you just want to check it out because it's probably something you'll hear people talking about. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff coming out earlier in the year. Hopefully, we can take away more good than bad. I don't know. Hit us up with some emails or something. Let us know if we missed something that maybe you think that we should have on our radar or something like that, like, because looking over all these movies, I was like, there's some I was trying to like cut out whether or not I really wanted to see. Like there was one coming out in March called Welcome to the Punch with James McAvoy and Mark Strong. It's a British like crime thriller that apparently is like has some amazing action and like gunplay and slow-mo shots in it. The trailer is really cool. You can check that out online right now. But it just didn't make the cut. I mean, I figured I'd mention it though.
Yeah, right.
But hit us up at the Facebook, the movieschmovie.net. I almost said MySpace. What the hell?
It's coming back.
Friendster.
I'm bringing it back. Yeah, Friendster. And let us know if we missed something. Just shoot us some email or a link to a trailer, and we'll bring it up on the next episode. But do you guys have anything else to add in terms of that?
That's it.
iTunes subscribe, Mixcloud subscribe. I can't stress how easy it is to get these on your mobile devices. I feel like most people are on their mobile devices now anyway. Like even if you're listening to this on your mobile device, that's awesome.
You're taking a ride to your stupid job.
Yeah.
You just listen to it. Just listen to it. Right.
Don't get all judgmental about what they do for a living, Ronald.
I think he was talking about himself.
He was using the
he was out of body.
It's one of those things like it's your job, and when somebody else calls it stupid, they're like, hey, don't call my job stupid. So I guess I won't call your job stupid. I'm sorry. Your beautiful
job.
Very
adult of you to take that back.
Right.
See, we've grown a lot.
Right.
We have.
In our first podcast of 2013 here.
Right. Conflict resolution.
Yeah.
Instantaneous, in fact.
So you can see this isn't going to be your dad's movie schmovie. This is a whole new movie schmovie for 2013.
Right. We constantly evolve.
Yeah. At least we tell ourselves that. And that's what matters.
That's all that matters.
How do we make ourselves feel good?
It's all about the lies.
Yeah.
How do we make our... It's all about the lies.
It's the only way it ever works.
You'll never get past on Ronald, and that's his honesty.
Hey, I've tried this truth shit for a long time.
Right.
I've found that sleep is easier.
I found that
lies are everywhere.
Lube the deals. You got to lube the deals with the lies. So,
All right, guys. Well, as always, thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Send us any feedback. Share the podcast. Help us grow this listener base so that we can keep doing this.
do it.
Like Ron said, do it.
Yeah.
You guys got anything else? Nothing? Just a shaking of the head left to right? And
No,
that, I guess I'll just
Man,
say...
clean your
Oh,
tank.
wait. What?
Clean your tank. You know, people clean everything else. Clean your tank. You always miss
Wait,
that.
you're suggesting that someone's out there cleaning. I would say that if there's an area that I focus all my righteous fury on, the taint might be the most...
Exfoliated too, man. You don't want any extra skin.
Do you use like microbeads?
I use a loofah that I call loofah Vandross.
Is that loofah dedicated only to the taint? Or do you share that with the rest of your
I
body?
share it with other things.
Wow. You're so giving.
Yeah, man. I'm okay with my ass touching the same thing as my ass to ball connection touching my
You
face.
know, we really were almost out.
I was so close, John.
Nope.
And I had to throw it out there. Like anything else, I take that back.
Do you ever see the sentence forming in your mouth? Yeah, like hey, anybody got anything else they want to say? Do you ever see, find yourself grabbing for the
Pull
words
back,
as
yeah.
they...
With Ronald involved, you always have to be aware of that.
Clean.
It's almost like we have a little mental count. Like when you've said, anybody got anything else? And I say, nope. And then there's like a beat. And I'm like, okay, maybe that's it.
I was thinking about that for like a half hour.
Clean your taint.
Clean your taint.
You were thinking about that for a half hour?
Yeah, man. I don't know.
Is it
what
something
it
The
Smell?
only takeaway from this episode.
Did I?
Clean your taint.
Something smells like burritos in here.
Taint.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening. Taint. You've made our day. Taint.
Taint.
You've made our taint.
Hopefully cleaner.